Hey guys, I'm RJSMITH. This is Crazy News Reacts. Welcome aboard. I scour the globe for the craziest, most insane news stories. All of my police-related and prison-related stories get a lot of views. But things like a five-legged lamb, people stealing organs, that kind of stuff does okay, but not as good. I guess I'll just have to keep scouring the globe for crazy inmate and police stuff because you guys love that. So hang out with me today as we explore this brand new story, and I will see you where? Right on the other side. Let's go.
A Warren police officer's job is on the line after he was charged with the assault of an inmate.
Take a look at this video. Officer Matthew Rodriguez is seen punching an inmate and throwing him to the ground, and it does not stop there. Rodriguez was charged after the Macomb County prosecutor reviewed this tape and watched this surveillance video.
I'm just reporting the news, and today it's all about this detention officer out in California who decided, he's just going to go ahead and punch an inmate on camera and then slam his head repeatedly into the ground. Now, maybe it's just me, but that's wrong. If you did this to a police officer, you would be in prison. So it's not me hating on cops, it's me reporting stuff that's already come out in the global media. And unfortunately, this shit happens. Let's check it out.
Warren police officer Matthew Rodriguez, a 14-year veteran of the force, was charged with assaulting an inmate, and it was all captured on surveillance cameras inside the Warren jail. Officer Rodriguez and that inmate appear to be exchanging some words. That's when Rodriguez punches the inmate in the face.
The video without question shows that this officer strikes the prisoner into the ground.
The other officers are the ones who turned this guy in. A lot of officers don't want any part of this. It's a very small percentage who take advantage of situations, who believe they can beat up people and kill people without any recourse. And that is because of the training they receive.
Then the cameras show Officer Rodriguez throwing the inmate inside a jail cell. Commissioner Bill Dwyer with Warren PD says he was disgusted to see what happened and says it will not be tolerated.
Nobody, not even a police officer on duty, is above the law.
This is unacceptable and not tolerable.
Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido says his office thoroughly examined the footage and decided to file charges, and also applauded the officers who stepped up and reported the assault.
I appreciate and respect the duty of those officers to do what they did. It took courage. It took courage to do what they did.
Go to any police department, any prison, and ask them, is it okay to assault inmates? And they will tell you off the record, screw them. It's us against them. This is true. It happens in training. So let's go on.
Commissioner Dwyer says police have a hard enough time building bridges with the community. That's why he says actions like that of Officer Rodriguez are unacceptable and will not be hidden from the public.
This is not what we do. This is not who we are. And this is not what the men and women of this department stand for.
Commissioner Bill Dwyer saying in about a week or so, Officer Rodriguez will have an administrative hearing to figure out if he has a job moving forward.
Let's face it, folks, when these guys lose their mind and do things like this, they are automatically enemy number one for everyone in the jail or the prison. If you're going to be a police officer, do it with respect. Because if you end up getting charged with something like this, and you end up going to prison, your ass is grass. That's just the facts. It's not me being a cop hater.
Do you want Officer Rodriguez off the job?
Absolutely. I'm calling for his resignation or his firing. His firing right now. This prisoner did not strike him. This prisoner didn't spit upon him or anything.
Reverend W.J. Rideout didn't hold back when talking about the brutal display of excessive force caught on camera against a carjacking suspect. On Tuesday, Warren's Police Commissioner Bill Dwyer and Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido charged Warren Officer Matthew Rodriguez with 2 misdemeanors, including assault and battery on a 19-year-old whose sources tell Fox 2 is Juwan Smith.
When an officer gets to prison, especially one who has been in the media, a high-profile conviction, those guys live in a 6 by 9 foot cell for their entire sentences. Think about that. That's a walk-in closet. Because if you don't do that, if you let them out into population, guess what? They're going to end up dead. Because most of the prisoners who are sent to jail and prisons have bad experiences with cops.
Are you satisfied that Commissioner Dwyer and Pete Lucido both came forward and condemned this man's actions?
They didn't condemn him. They slapped him on the wrist.
Officer Rodriguez, a 14-year veteran with Warren PD, is on paid leave. Fox 2 has learned this is not Rodriguez's first excessive force case while as a member of the Warren Police Department. Court paperwork shows in April 2013, Rodriguez, along with 3 other officers, are accused of roughing up 2 men. One of them was under 18 while they were booked for driving under the influence. At one point, the complaint says, quote, Rodriguez rushed over to Devontae Campbell, the minor, grabbed onto him and violently pulled D. Campbell off the bench onto the floor, then slung around and dragged him as if he were a rag doll to a nearby detention cell.
You know, it's not all lollipops and roses. So when these guys go to prison, they're scared to death, and they have good reason to be, because the prisoners are going to treat them just the way they were treated when they were on the street. All's fair in love and war.
This speaks to the leadership here in Warren, to the mayor, chief of police, and even the prosecutor. This speaks to all 3 of them, how they feel about a black man and people of color.
Warren police have a history of excessive force allegations involving black people in custody. Last summer, video shows Warren officers pull 17-year-old Tyler Wade from a car, then punch and kick him repeatedly. Wade has filed a lawsuit against the department.
One of the things that all police officers and police departments, sheriff's office, agencies have, they do not believe they're going to be sued because they are backed up by these police unions. The only way to get justice sometimes is to empty the county's wallet. A lot of agencies won't even investigate their officer. That is a sad state of affairs.
In my hand is the federal criminal complaint for former Warren police officer Matthew Rodriguez. A few weeks back, we told you about the video, which led to Rodriguez's firing over accusations of excessive force. Well, now the U.S. Attorney and the head of the FBI want to send a message to all police departments and the communities they serve.
It breaks my heart, and it's completely unacceptable.
FBI Acting Special Agent Devin Kowalski shares his thoughts on the brutal excessive force video involving now former Warren police officer Matthew Rodriguez and a 19-year-old booked on a carjacking charge. The federal criminal complaint says Rodriguez punched Jaquan Smith in his head more than once, grabbed his hair, and slammed his head to the ground, and then lifted and kicked his feet.
Here's my thing. 3 other officers, they could have easily pulled their buddy off of the individual to settle this without getting any more serious injuries, but they didn't do that. And that has to be looked at. Now, they might have turned on the cop after the effect, but you should do it during. The feds are sending a message, plain and simple. When you get arrested by the FBI and you go through the Department of Justice, 99.4% conviction rate in the federal system. They don't take a case unless they can win it.
Warren Police Department's non-lethal use of force policy provides that officers use only the minimum amount of force necessary to effect an arrest, overcome resistance, defend themselves or others, or to gain control.
Actions like that compromise trust in the community, the trust the community has with law enforcement. And I commend both the prosecutor, the police department, as well as the U.S. Attorney for aggressively investigating this.
Last month, Warren Police fired Rodriguez, who was initially charged with assault and battery, a misdemeanor. On Monday, U.S. Attorney Don Eisen announced Rodriguez will face federal charges related to a civil rights violation.
Most agencies have a use of force policy that states you can only use as much force as it requires to bring someone under control. There's no defending the actions of this guy. Well, look, we have 2 tiers of justice here in this country. Do you think if you did this to a police officer that you would be charged with 2 misdemeanors?
It should send a clear message to those officers who defy their oath and the Constitution, contrary to the vast majority of law enforcement officers who carry out their duties.
No one's above the law, including Mr. Rodriguez, who took an oath of office, and as such, he will be prosecuted just as anyone else would be prosecuted. But it gives a black eye to all law enforcement, and it gives a black eye to the ones that try to do their best every day.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't buy that, folks, because 17 months does not fix this issue. A statement needs to be made, just like they make it with individuals who attack cops and beat them up, and it's on the nightly news, and oh my God, it's a horrible thing, and they end up getting 10, 15 years in prison. This guy only got 17 months in a federal system, probably club fed. And just imagine how many people this guy has abused like this over his decade of service. Whoa. All those cases are going to have to be looked at now with fresh eyes.
An hour after the U.S. Attorney's Office announced its charges against Matthew Rodriguez, Warren Police Commissioner Bill Dwyer spoke in Warren. Dwyer called Rodriguez's actions a disgrace to the city of Warren and his department. He also commended the officers who reported Rodriguez to the authorities.
It is my hope that the public does not associate every Warren police officer with the embarrassing actions of Matthew Rodriguez.
Let's move on from this. This is just horrible. My question is, how come he waited until after the feds got involved and had a press conference? He didn't do anything. He didn't notify the county attorney or state attorney. They didn't care. But now they're scared shitless, which they should be, because the feds are coming knocking. I love how he says we're being transparent. There's no transparency. This department is known by the federal government as being one of the worst that violates a suspect's constitutional rights. Now the entire department is going to be scrutinized. Everything this chief said is complete bullshit. Why? Because he would have said that after the initial incident, but he didn't. Now that the feds are involved, maybe I'll just act like I'm on the side of my officers, you know. That's it, guys. See you tomorrow. I'm RJ. This is Crazy News. Like and subscribe so when you come back tomorrow, you will be a subscriber. Hell yeah. Later.